Welcome to the ripple effect of love. Welcome to the ripple effect of love for dads and families. Did you know that it is well known and well established that the health and well being of babies and young children rely on the health and well being of their adult caregivers? Whether it's in the home or at the daycare. So let's take a deep breath with that. And it is also said, let me post this up here in the bottom, that caregiving adults must be regulated themselves in order to guide and co regulate with a child. To be able to stay calm themselves, the adults, in the face of a child's big emotions or tantrums, right? We all have had 2 year olds. Maybe you're not there yet, but they need to be expressing their emotions. And the way they do it is with a tantrum because they're not able to use their words properly yet, because there's so many parts of the brain that needs to develop. So they have a tantrum if it doesn't suit them. We, as the adult, it is our responsibility to stay calm. I'm Christine Bernard, stress management coach, and much more. So I'm excited to be here with you because, I don't often talk about research, and I did a little bit of Google research today and found many sites. I like Psychology Today as a reference, and it says that research shows that caregiver child interactions focused on the process of co regulation affect a child's self regulatory development. What does that mean? It means that if you're self regulating, you're keeping your amygdala calm, your survival mode calm, then the child learns that. Will they learn it the first time you do it? I don't think so. Reality is not that way. It continues to say, but that the content of those interactions, whether a caregiver's effect is mostly positive or neutral, as opposed to negative, impacts whether the outcome is adaptive or maladaptive. For the child. This is by Lobo and Lukenheimer in 2020. So it's new enough research to talk about this. So, some of the important things that we need to have with our children, and sometimes when we're in the midst of chaos, our expectations aren't necessarily realistic. And that is super important. Are they also age appropriate, right? Are you able to empathize and validate the emotions? So, for example, a few summers ago, I was at the market and there's this lovely lady that I always bought some food that she makes. And she had brought her toddler, 2.5 year old with her. And of course, he was opening the coolers and her fridge, and she was just at ends with. And I said, would you like me to just take him to the park beside? And I don't know what I was thinking, right? This is my first time meeting this 2 year old. And he's like, oh, yeah, I want to go. And we exchange phone numbers so I can text her if I have an issue and she can come. Like it's, I don't know, not even 100 feet from the market. And so I go there and he's having a great time. He's climbing and he's going across. I had a couple dads help me when he was up in the air, and I was a little bit nervous because he's not my kid, it was somebody else's kid, right? And I wanted to make sure I got him back safe. But then it was time to go. Do you think this beautiful 2.5 year old wanted to go back? No way. And I kept thinking, how am I going to get him back to his mom without a huge temper tantrum for everyone to see, right? And throwing himself down on the ground, and because I had tried and he was like, "No, I'm not going." I was okay. So I just kept self-regulating myself. And then when he sat on a those whales that balance up and down, he was a bit higher. I picked him up and I quickly started self-regulating, and I started saying, "Oh, it's no fun to go back. You'd rather stay at the park, wouldn't you?" And he looked at me. He stopped crying and he looked at me. To have his emotions validated really supported him. He felt understood. Yeah. So pick up the child. You can tap along their spine gently as you self regulate yourself. You might not be able to tap because you're holding the little one, the toddler, and you're tapping. So just breathe and imagine that you're tapping on your meridian point while just tapping. And then don't say too much, just what you think is obvious until you get that reaction. "Oh, you're listening to me, Christine. Wow." And so I kept walking a little bit. And then I just said, "It's time for you to go back to your mom. I need to go home. And I'd love for you to just hold my hand and walk back with me. Are you ready to do that?" He nodded. And we walked back hand in hand. And when we got like within 10 feet or 15 feet from his mom, I let him go and followed him. And it was a beautiful experience for me, who was implementing my snap, tap, zap, because I regulated myself. He attuned to that calmness instead of staying stuck to the tantrum part, to this part where he's trying to express himself, can't express himself, is unhappy about it, doesn't want to leave the park, etc. I mean, who, as a 2.5-year-old, would rather be in a little 10 feet by 10 feet square, not even 8 feet by 8 feet square, helping your mom sell her the stuff she made? There are no 2-year-olds. Usually her mom would babysit, but that day mom couldn't. And the week after, I did not see her. She did not come because she didn't have a babysitter. I'm not doing this experience again. Mom learned from it, which was beautiful. But as well, this toddler, you know, it's so important to teach them how to self soothe. And if we don't know how to self soothe, meaning how to calm our own beautiful emotions, whether they be negative or sometimes we're on such a high. I've seen it with a 9-year-old. He was so excited. He couldn't calm himself down. And he came to see me. "I'm so excited, Kristen. I guess I'm like, whoa." So I started self regulating and I said, "Would you like to learn a strategy?" And he did it. Snap, tap, relax, and zap. And we did 3 rounds. That's it with this child. This beautiful boy who had lots of energy, but no one had showed him how to self regulate because dad didn't know how, so he couldn't teach him. And then he did it. He went away for a bit. He came back and he says, "Christine, that works." Like, just amazed that he could stay calm. So, whether it's for a negative emotion or a super excited emotion, sometimes it's just the child is so excited, it's a bit extreme in that sense. And it does affect the brain as well. So, if we can regulate, I'm not saying don't let your kids be excited, that is absolutely not. But, you say, "Oh, we're gonna do this," and one child is, like, almost climbing the walls of excitement, and the other one's like, "Yay, this is gonna be fun," there's a balance, so we need to snap, tap, and zap that onto the spiraling train. Just let go. Whatever that fear is, whether it be conscious or unconscious, you can even say in your head, I release my unconscious fear. And it's never, ever, ever too late to start. Whether your child is in the tummy or your child is an infant, a baby, um, a teen, it doesn't matter. You can start self regulating. I started self regulating when my children were adults, and it has changed so many things in our interactions because one, I stopped being this anxious mom that was driving them insane. They didn't need that. They wanted to explore life and they needed to explore it. And they were very smart, very intelligent about their choices. I just needed to see that aspect instead of hovering and wanting to protect them and wanting them not to have any terrible experiences. Life is about having experiences. So remember to take a break whenever you need to. I can't emphasize that enough. I was working with a client the other day, and this client said, "Well, when my kids were young, I started smoking because my spouse was smoking so that I could also get a break and go smoke." The brain is smart, right? Oh, need a break, an excuse, smoking's the excuse. So now we're shifting that to it is safe right now. It is safe to take a break and let go of the smoking because this client feels it is not what she wants, right? And it's just supporting. So if you need to be supported, no matter where you're at, you can book a discovery call and we'll see. Each individual that works with me has a very different roadmap, very different blueprint because we are all unique. And I've said this, right? When I talk about the snowflake, and if you look at water crystallizing under a microscope, if it is water where there's been joy around it and love, it's just beautiful. And if it's in a place where there's anger and stress, etc., those negative emotions, it's all kind of scrunched up and yucky. So we are made of which percentage of water? About 80%, I think. So think about it. Yeah, how does that affect our physical body? Excellent. So I have a little quiz if you're interested, and it's what's your parenting style? Yeah, we all have different parenting styles, don't we? And it's really important that our parenting style matches what our goals are. Because if our parenting style does not match our goals, for example, the dad that shows up, Christian Mendez, dad of 4, entrepreneur, busy dad, he wants to, his goal this year is to listen with understanding and to communicate from a place of love. So because he has these 2 amazing goals, that's what he wants to do with his children, with his spouse, at work, with the people he interacts with in the community. And that is beautiful. So I found this little quiz in Psychology Today that I thought some of you might really enjoy um, taking a peek and seeing what it is that might help or support you to, to see where it is that you might be able to. I don't know if this chat works here. I'm not sure that if I put something in the restream chat, if it will work, but I can put it in the posts after. So, what's your parenting style so that you can have fun and just try it out, right? And see. I mean, once we start to look at the facts as they are, not as we want them to be, which can be really hard. Yes, positive thinking is excellence, is excellent. However, we also need to look at the realistic baseline that we're at so that we know which actions we can take to move forward in the direction that we want. So, do your kids learn more from what you do than from what you say? Do your children learn more from what you do than what you say? Yes, they do. And if you want them to be emotionally strong, it starts with you. Emotional intelligence is so, so important. And there are many different ways of reacting to a situation. And I've talked many times about you see an accident, and one person's like, oh, it happened so fast, didn't see anything. Another person might say a few facts. And then sometimes there's this one person that can describe it all in slow motion, everything that happened. And you're like, wow, probably the kind of people that the police would like to see when they're describing the accident. So, our emotions, it's the same thing. How are your emotional reaction shaping your child's self regulation skills? Have you started implementing the snap or clap if you prefer to clap? Breathe in, tap, relax the shoulders, go to the train station, imagine it, close your eyes if it helps, and blow whatever's bugging you. Doing this in front of your children, right? Didn't I just say, talk about your children learn more from what you do than what you say. So it's not about telling them what to do, it's about you implementing it. So, are you implementing Snap Tap Zap? And if you've done it with me right now, A plus, congratulations. Let's do it one more time. Nice deep breath in. Notice where the tension is you're in your body. Thank your body. Relax your shoulders and blow that onto the spiraling drain. Sometimes we need to ask to be aware of what's going on behind the anger, behind the overwhelm. Because most things with emotional regulation, emotional intelligence, is that if you never learn to do this as a young child, you have many, many, many layers that are there. And sometimes we'll take this layer off, and then another time we'll go there and all the way down. It's like peeling the layers of the onion, right? Not always easy, but so worth it. Imagine being able to leave a legacy of love for your children. How would that feel? What would that look like, right? So I invite you to use the Snap Tap Zap in stressful moments so that they learn to do it. It might take a month, it might take 2 months, it might take 2 tries of doing it twice for them to start doing it. And it's okay. So, 3-step method to model emotional intelligence daily. 1, oh, I'm feeling angry right now. Let me snap, tap, zap. So 1, acknowledging your emotion. 2, snap, tap, zap. And 3, so I've done it. Do I need to do it more? Out of 10, where's my anger? It was up at a 5. Let me see if I can bring it down to a 3. And then you breathe in. So you evaluate where you're at. Do I still need to do it? Can I stop? And acknowledging that process out loud to your loved ones to start with. Do it with yourself first until you get confident enough, and then do it with your children. And you might need to self-regulate. Oh, they're looking at me and rolling their eyes because I'm self-regulating with Snap Tap Zap. That's okay. Self-regulate. Release that, right? Yeah, the judgment that you're receiving. And just let it go. So I'm going to leave you with 2 important things. First one is, what's one habit you want your kids to learn from you? What is one habit you want your children to learn from you? Please share that in the chat. And tomorrow, I have a special guest that I'm very excited to have live with us. His name is Craig Lee. He's a dad of 2 girls, 8 and 10 years old. And he will be talking about handling big emotions, yours, theirs, how when you feel stuck in the cycle of frustration, playing both roles, this is for single dads or divorced dads, right? You deserve the support that you need. Doing it alone is possible, but why not do it with support? It's a lot less lonely. So, on that note, I wish you all the best, and hopefully you're getting some value. Share it in the chat. I love to hear your comments. It can be private chat if you're not comfortable sharing with everyone. And I will see you tomorrow. If you need to connect with me, QR code at the top to book an appointment or to see my website, which is under constructions but coming along. So if you want to free your life filled with stress, to have a healthier, happier life, a lighter life, and you want to look at all aspects of your life, I'd love to support you. So take great care, and I will see you